Hello guys. Around 250 years ago from now, there lived a man in Italy who was very powerful. His strength was very incredible. He was very athletic, due to which he was the most successful wrestler of that time. He was famous by the name Milo of Croton. He was a 6-time wrestling champion at ancient Olympic Games in Greece. He won in the boys wrestling category in 540 BC. Then, for the next 5 years, he won 5 Olympic Games in the men's category. Along with this, he was the winner in many other games, like the Pythian Games in which he won 7 times, Isthmian Games in which he won 10 defeats, the Nemean Games which he won 9 times. In the same way, he made many records and achieved many things. But the question is, what was the reason for his incredible muscle? How could any human being conclusively do so many things? Could give the such best performance in different sports, leaving others behind? Well, let me tell you its secret. What happened was that a newborn calf was born near Milo's house. The calf was born. So Milo decided that he would carry this little animal on his shoulder and take it from there, bring it to his house. He did the same thing that day. He carried it on his shoulder and carried it away. When the second day came, he repeated the same thing. Similarly, what he used to do is that he used to lift his calf on his shoulder every day and carry it to his house. And he did the same simple thing every day. Look, the thing was, when he started, that calf was a small animal. But as every child grows up, this calf was also growing up. But Milo was not even aware. Because the difference seemed so small, so slowly. Because he was doing that thing every day, he didn't notice the difference. But after 4 years that calf had become a big bull. And it was very heavy. But still, Milo was able to lift it. Because every day he was doing that thing. And he was not even aware that calf was growing. Because as the calf was getting bigger, its weight increased. Similarly, their muscle power and strength of Milo were increasing. Because of this, Milo became so powerful that no one was left to compete with him. Now look, most people think that man. We have been taught matches in schools so much that it doesn't work. Well, in this video I'll tell you something. You use math. With the help of maths, I show you how we can improve our lives. Take the example, if you have $100 to start with, okay? And if you start increasing this amount by 1% every day, do you know how much money you will have by the end of this year? $200? $300? You would have a total of $3,778.34. How will it be? Well, it's a simple maths formula. $100 multiplied by bracket 1 plus 1% raised to 365. This formula will give you so much money. Where what you are doing, you are only increasing that amount by 1%. Because of this, how much more you will get at the end? 37.78 times more money. Similarly, if you start improving yourself by only 1% every day, then by the end, your growth will be more than 37 times. With the help of this logic, you can improve so much in any area of your life. That too by just a 1% improvement in that thing. Now, how can you implement this amazing thing in your life? Well, now I am going to share 5 points with you. With the help of 2 amazing books. One is Atomic Habits. And the other is Peak, The Secret of the New Science of Expertise. With the help of these books, I am going to share 5 points with you, which will help you a lot. I found the third part very interesting. So till then, at least must check out the video. The first point is, start light. Milo was able to carry 4-year-old Big Bull comfortably. But he didn't do this thing suddenly in one day. Let me start lifting a big bull. No, he started lifting the small calf first. Because it was already a wrestler. So it wasn't a big deal for him to lift this calf. And that's an important thing you and I should implement. Look what happens, many times we judge ourselves by our capacity. How much weight we can lift, how long we can read a book, how long we can study. What we do most of the time is, we judge by capacity, rather we should judge by our consistency. For example, when I went to the gym for the first time in my life, I saw that people were setting 10 kilograms weight dumbbells. Some people were doing shoulder exercises with 30-40 kilograms weight. Now, I saw that thing, and because I didn't have a trainer, my friends were with me, so they said that you also do it. What did I do? What other people were exercising with similar weights? Because I had passion, strength, I exercised a few dips at home too. Because of that, what happened? What other people were doing, I had also done the same. 15 to 20 repetitions with the weight. And I was thinking myself very powerful. That what these people are doing, that I can do with such ease. Now that day I put many heavyweight sets in enthusiasm. According to the starting, I put a lot of heavyweights. Then, what was the result? Yes, my ego got boosted so much by that man. I have so much capacity. What do these gym people come to every day? I can lift so much weight on the first day itself. But then what happened? What happened the next day? Because I had worked so hard, my muscles were hurting a lot. But I stopped going to the gym. And a few years later when I hired a trainer. And you also see that when you guys also go to the gym, your trainer tells you to lift lightweight in starting. And slowly increases your weight day by day. Why? Because trainers understand one simple thing. It's not important that you just come one day and lift a lot of weights. But you must keep coming every day and doing gym regularly. Most people make the same mistake that they start lifting heavy weights in the starting itself, due to which their ego is boosted. But many times they are not able to stay consistent. Like me. Which doesn't even show them the results. Whereas you should always focus on consistency. As Milo did. Example, if you are promising yourself that I will read a book every week for the coming 1 year. Yes, you can do this thing, no doubt. But keeping ego aside is the most important thing for you. What you should do, try to read a page daily. Try to read a paragraph and focus on being consistent, not quantity. And this simple thing will help take you too far. 2. Purposeful practice. Author Anders Ericsson studied many expert performers in this year's career, in which he was trying to figure out how much a person can push the limits of his mind and how he can do it. To figure it out, he did an experiment. What he did? He recruited an undergraduate at Carnegie Mellon University named Steve. Hired him. Where he used to call Steve several times to his office for 1 hour. And there he used to call Steve's random number, to listen. And to remember. And after being reminded, he used to say, "Tell me those numbers, and tell me back by speaking." He used to give some set of numbers to Steve. If he could hear the correct set of numbers correctly, what he would do was add 1 more digit. If he ever spoke wrongly, then he used to reduce 2 digits. For example, like Steve used to say 6 digits correctly. Then the next time he used to ask him to remember 7 digits. And if he spoke wrong, then he used to say 5 digits instead of 6. Now what happened after doing this? After 4 sessions, Steve came to such a point where he was not able to remember beyond 7 digits. Many types of research also show that our short-term capacity is 7 units of information. The research that was going on by Steve was showing the same. That our limit is 7 digits. But what Steve did was he constantly pushed his limit. Now because of what happened, he used to come every week but he couldn't remember more than 7 numbers. He was very frustrated and angry. Since Steve didn't have the option to quit this experiment, Steve had to come every week and keep trying. Now, due to it, what happened was, one day because of this is that Steve memorized 8 digits instead of 7 digits. And then 9 digits. And then 10 digits. And then 11 digits. That too, he achieved all that in one session. What happened after that? Again the same frustration came. Again no improvement was coming from him. After this, the author noticed a simple cycle. That cycle was such that it comes at the beginning, with rapid progress. Then comes hitting a perceived limit. Then comes prolonged frustration when nothing is found. Then comes a sudden breakthrough. And then comes rapid progress. And like this cycle keeps on running again and again. And this cycle lasted for a very long time. You know, after 200 sessions, Steve started recalling up to 82 digits. That is, 75 more than what science believed till now. Which was mind-blowing. And the author named this practice as Purposeful Practice. Due to which he was able to achieve all this. And this purposeful practice has 4 core components. The first component is the specific goal. See, the goal he had for Steve was not very specific. Like, he has to be remembered 8 digits. Then 10 digits, then 11, then 12. Do you understand? The second component was the intense focus. Steve always had to sit focused for 1 hour. Without being distracted. He had to remember the digits. The third was immediate feedback. And after doing this he would get quick feedback too. The hat was first and easy to understand. After every attempt, he was getting good feedback. Whether he was able to remember well or not. The fourth was frequent discomfort. With this, after a point, he was always going out of his comfort zone, pushing himself. He was focusing on his limit. He was performing to the limit of his ability. If he got that wrong, he would go back 2 steps, which were very challenging and uncomfortable. If you use all these 4 components, then you can do the purposeful practice. Purposeful practice creates one thing, which I will tell you about in the 4th point. But now let's move on to the 3rd lesson. The power of accumulative advantage, which I found quite interesting. Do you know that Amazon rainforest is the most diverse ecosystem in the world? Scientists have seen so far that Amazon has about 16,000 types of tree species so far. But researchers have also discovered that there are approximately 227 hyper-dominant tree species that are responsible for half the trees in this rainforest. Meaning only 1.4% of tree species are responsible for 50% of the trees in the entire Amazon. But how does this happen? Why is it like this? Imagine 2 plants growing on each other's side. And now every day both of them compete for the sun and sunlight. Now imagine that one of these 2 plants will grow a little more. So what will happen? It will become taller, which always keeps them behind, so that it will be able to absorb more sunlight than other plants. It will start covering more area and will get more rainwater. What will happen to him? He will grow more from other trees. And then this pattern will repeat again and again. Due to this, plant will go ahead leaving behind the rest of the plants. Because of this, what will happen then? The seeds of this plant will be able to travel far and wide, and it will start expanding. And what I just told you is the reason that this 1.4% of the trees dominate the entire Amazon forest. And this is what scientists call the accumulative advantage, which starts with a small advantage and becomes very powerful in the long run, as that plant got a slight advantage in the beginning and then later created such a big difference. Similarly, it works in every aspect of life. For example, when a flight takes off, if it changes its direction by even 3 degrees, then it is its destination, or it will reach somewhere else. In long term, that plane will land somewhere else. Similarly, whenever you change your life even by 1%, you will not see its effect today, may not see it tomorrow, may not see it in a week, and may not even see it in a month. But after a few years, when you look back, you will have reached a different place, same as that plane. If you are moving to the right place, moving in the right direction 1%, then it will take you to your dreamland. But if you take it in the wrong direction, then it can take you to the worst place. That's why I said, I liked this point very much, you must understand this thing. Now coming to the fourth point, mental representation. Look, the author says that what is purposeful practice and not what Steve did forces our minds to creative mental adoption, where learning starts building new and creative mental models. Like what Steve started doing. He started seeing numbers as branches of trees, which was helping him remember the numbers. Similarly, mental presentations, what our brain does. It starts using its creative ability to store new information. After a time, where he starts storing it in the form of words and pictures, and starts pushing its limit with different combinations. And interestingly, author says that to achieve this highly creative stage, you will have to go through a stage of prolonged frustration, which will help push your brain's limits. And this is what you can do by improving 1% daily. Because improving by 1% daily is not a very easy task. But, if you keep doing it consistently, your brain will start to form mental representations in your field. For you, just as you want. The author says that this is the secret of all expert performers. Their quality and quantity make everything different. For example, if you look at a grandmaster chess player, he can play the whole chess game with his eyes closed. In fact, from 1927 to 1935, Alexander Alekhine, the world champion, could blindly play 32 games simultaneously. To do this, he had to store the entire chessboard in his memory. Pieces had to be moved in his mind. He also used to make all the strategies to win the game at the same time. Rock climbers also make a mental representation in the mind before climbing, where they prepare the entire climb in one way and plan their every move. Golfers and crickets also, before hitting the ball, they build up the entire path of the ball with mental representation. And this is the secret of big players like Sachin and MS Dhoni. The last point, don't miss workouts, increase small. Look, when I gave you the example of Milo in the beginning, his strategy would never work if he decides that he would only lift the calf on the day of his birthday. But most of us, you see, are like this. Our journey of improving ourselves. We try to start the journey only once or twice a year. As if the new year is about to come. Maximum people will try to improve themselves, to start things. Directly somewhere, they will try to carry the 4-year-old bull. But when it will feel too painful for them, they will feel heavy. Then they will quit very soon. In fact, according to the research of the University of Secretan, only 8% of people can complete their New Year's resolution. This is because many times those people set larger-than-life goals, which seems that can be done practically. But it is very difficult to maintain consistency in them. That's why the author says that the first step you have to take for any of your goals, take it so small that you can't refuse it. And it should be very easy for you to take that step every day. For example, suppose you feel that you do not have any skills, and you want to develop a skill in the future. Then your goal should be that you should make the process of learning less painful as much as possible, and make it more enjoyable. The better and less painful any experience is, the more your brain will be ready to repeat it. And what's the easiest strategy to do this? In long term, that plane will land somewhere else. For example, if you want to learn a new language, have to learn English, maybe. Don't start learning big things directly. But every day you just learn a new word. Learn a new line. Starting won't make any difference to you, you won't learn English. Maybe you won't see results for a week, or even not for a month. But in a few years, you'll learn a lot of English, which you wouldn't even have imagined. That's it for now. Like, if you found these things useful, then comment and tell which is the lesson according to you. Those young people should follow which I did not share. Share this video with your friends. And the most important thing, if you have not subscribed and pressed the bell icon, then please press it. I will be bringing you a summary of similar amazing books every week. That's all for now.